So is the president's lack of support for our longtime ally hurting or helping the situation in Egypt right now? Michigan Congressman Thad McCotter joins us live this morning. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
What did you think about what the president had to say yesterday regarding Egypt, and in particular the Muslim Brotherhood, because that is very troubling to a lot of people?
Well, I think that what the situation we see on the ground has arisen from is a failure to initially support the Mubarak government and help to have our influence there to channel constructive change within the existing institutions.
Right.
Now we find on the ground the situation where the protesters are essentially talking to the media to get the President Obama to get Mubarak out. At the very same time, what you're starting to see is the Egyptian government going to the Muslim Brotherhood to try to find out how to bring them into the government to undercut the very protesters in the street. This is the worst possible outcome we could have.
Right, exactly. The interesting thing about what's going on over the weekend, Congressman, is the fact that the Muslim Brotherhood was actually at the table negotiating with the government of Egypt. Suleiman's right there. He's presiding, and he said, okay, one thing is not on the table, and that is that Mubarak is not going to leave immediately. And so far, the Muslim Brotherhood has been dealt into part of this negotiation.
Right, which is something we do not want to see. What we see with the Muslim Brotherhood is the same type of thing we've seen from many groups that are very well organized and radicalized that would, in a chaotic situation, eventually come in and try to wrest power. Remember, in the Bolshevik Revolution, the slogan was peace, land, and bread. It wasn't show trial shootings in Siberia. So what you're seeing out of the Muslim Brotherhood is the same thing we also saw out of the Khomeinyites back in the 1979 revolution, where they tell the Westerners one thing. Meanwhile, their goals remain their own.
Sure.
So I would think that when the president talks about what we want to see in Egypt for the Egyptian people, both for them and the United States and the rest of the world, is not merely a representative government. You want a representative government with a constitution in place that protects the rights of citizens from something that a government might try to do to them with simply 50+1 of the vote.
Sure, but when you're talking about some sort of representative government over there, you know that the Muslim Brotherhood has got, it's got a popular support with a lot of people over there, and it might not be the majority party, but it's going to have a place at the table.
Which is why the negotiation of that constitution, why the U.S. should have worked from the beginning to channel it through the Mubarak government with his departure at the end, to make sure that when a constitution is put in place, it makes the entire platform of the Muslim Brotherhood null and void. That if they want to come in and impose their will on people, it is not permitted under the Constitution. So while we as Americans especially understand that a representative government, no matter who's elected to it, it has to have enumerated powers, and it has to be prevented from ever being able to do certain things to you.
Great points. All right. Congressman McCotter, we thank you very much for joining us so early on this Monday morning. Thank you, sir.